Welcome to Riding with Josh. I'm Josh, and today we're doing the 1-year review on the V-Strom 1000. Well, it's been a fast year, hasn't it? I've had this bike for just a little over a year now. Bought it February 2019. It's the end of February 2020 now. And after 1 year riding, 1,700 miles, I can definitely say I enjoy the V-Strom 1000. It's my first adventure bike, as I had mentioned before. I don't think I'll ever go back. It's that good of a bike. Whenever I first bought the bike, it was bone stock. Right off the showroom floor. It's a 2015 model, and I bought it brand new, 0 miles. Engine was still dry in 2019. It was dealer overstock, been sitting at a dealer for all those years, and they were ready to get rid of it. It's a little over $13,000 MSRP bike, and I paid $8,500 for it. So I'm very happy with the deal for it, and every single mile that's been put on this bike has been by me. As you can tell, I've done a few upgrades to the bike since it was new. Starting with the Givi Outback Trekker cases. I've got the 46-liter side cases and the 52-liter top case. It's the black edition. I'm not very satisfied with them. Right out of the boxes, within 2 weeks, these things started leaking. I've got new sills on order to replace the side case at the top. It does not leak, but the side cases do. So I'm going to get the sills, put them in. Hopefully that'll take care of it, but from what I've read, people have issues with it even after they replace them. So not very satisfied with the bags overall. They do hold a lot, I like that, but if you plan on doing any kind of weather riding, make sure you got a towel on top or something to soak some water up. One of my upgrades includes bar risers. I skimped out on spending the money on rocks risers. I should have bought them. I just bought some Chinese bar risers off of eBay. They're okay. I have issues with them coming loose, so I'm always having to check them while I'm riding, and if I stop somewhere, I'll bust out the little Allen key, make sure they're tight. I cannot get them to stay tight, so I'm going to fork out the money and buy some rocks risers, as well as some more dirt bike oriented style handlebars. The big dip that you get in these handlebars, it's okay, I just don't like it. Some people might like it, I don't like the way it looks. So I'm going to put the rocks risers and put a more dirt bike oriented, maybe like a pro taper bar on it, and add all the components that are on these handlebars back onto it. And whenever I do replace all that, I'm going to put Oxford heated grips on the motorcycle as well. Living in Pennsylvania, it gets pretty cold up here. Heated grips come in handy for the winter riding. The bike did not come with any kind of hand protection at all, so I ended up buying the OEM handguards to put on it. The OEM handguards are okay. They keep some wind off of you, but they don't offer any kind of protection at all. I wish I would have just went ahead and spent the extra $100 on top of what these cost and bought bark busters. So that will be an upgrade that is coming to the bike before too long, is getting rid of these plastic handguards and replacing them with something a little bit more robust. Another upgrade that I've done is the Givi XS308 tank bag. with the BF18 tank lock up underneath it right here. I will put links in the description to all the videos where I've installed these, so you can go back if you have any interest in these to see how installs are. Very easy on this thing, nothing to it. But this bag is phenomenal. I've had up to like 15 pounds in it before, and it holds it just fine. It will, if you undo these zippers right here, it spanned up a little bit, but I've never had any need to do it. You've got your power cord socket back here to where you can run your charger or GPS cables or anything through here to plug, so you don't have them all over the place. That's very nice. But this right here has probably been the best addition to the bike other than the crash bars. You know, it's just fantastic what you can put in these things, and you can use it anywhere you go. The stock windscreen for this motorcycle provided 0 wind protection. The head buffet was pretty bad on it, so after doing some research and within my budget, I settled on the Puig smoke touring windscreen. Again, I'll put a link in the description to the install of this. It goes into more detail about it. But since putting this on, it's been night and day difference. I've got it on the lowest setting right now. That's the middle setting. That's the third setting. At the third setting, you absolutely get 0 wind. On your first setting, you get just a little bit around your shoulders. You don't get any head buffet. I'm 5'9". I don't know how tall you are. It could be different for you depending on your height. But I should say if you're 5'9" or shorter, then you're not going to have any issues at all with any head buffeting or anything with this motorcycle windscreen. Love it. Whenever I did install the windscreen, I put the GPS bar on it. You can put a GPS on it, phone, whatever you want to put up there. The ram mount hold you can put up there. I like that because it frees up the handlebars, especially whenever you have this tank bag on. You don't have much real estate up here to put stuff on. I had to put this X-grip actually onto the rear view mirror post right here to have any kind of turning ability without it hitting this tank bag. So this right here is worth its weight in gold as far as being able to use a GPS or phone and safely be able to turn your handlebars. It should go without saying, any adventure motorcycle needs to have crash bars on them. These Heed crash bars I purchased for the bike are phenomenal. They're very robust. The welds on them are very nice. You can hardly tell that they were welded together. And it's the full cage system. It wraps around the whole bike. It comes up underneath right here, wraps around, so you get nice protection on all your plastic. I'm very happy with it. And it looks really good. Whenever I first bought them, I was kind of hesitant. I was like, is it going to look good? But they've grown on me. I actually like these a lot better than any of the other bars that you can buy on the market for this motorcycle. Very nice. Right here we have the RP3 105 Givi skid plate. Any adventure motorcycle needs to have a skid plate on it, especially the V-Strom. The V-Strom, the oil filter is right here. So without this on here, it is fully exposed. Anything that this front tire kicks up into it and hits it is going to puncture it. Your rod's going to be over unless you just happen to have a spare oil filter in your motorcycle with you. So I highly suggest one of these. It'll help protect your exhaust, it'll help protect the engine, and most importantly, it's going to protect your oil filter. You do not want to get stuck in the middle of the woods with a punctured oil filter. Okay, now we're going to get into the likes and dislikes about the bike. What I do like about it is its style and design. I mean, it's a very, very pretty bike. Don't get me wrong, the first generation V-Strom 1000 is a super fantastic looking bike too. But I definitely like the upgrade that they did to it starting in 2014. It was more inspired by Suzuki's DR Big 750. So it's kind of a throwback to that motorcycle, and it's a very nice style to it. I really enjoy it. Another thing is the engine. This V-twin has torque and power like you wouldn't believe. I'm used to twin bikes coming from B&W, so I'm used to having a lot of low-end torque and power like that. So it's very nice to have a bike like this that still has a lot of low-end torque and power. And another option to hit on, or another area to hit on, is your riding position. Things like riding a lazy boy, you know, I mean, it's very comfortable. When you sit down, the position you sit in, how everything feels. I mean, they designed it to be a comfortable bike for long distance riding, whether it be on-road or off-road. It is very comfortable. And it is a quiet motorcycle, very quiet. Now, this thing comes with a 400-pound exhaust on it that's bigger than the motorcycle itself. And it's kind of one of those things, do you want to spend $300, $400, $500 for exhaust to look better and it be louder? Or do you just want to stick with that gigantic hunk of metal on the side of it and be really quiet? I do stealth camping. I don't want to be seen going in or out of places, much less heard. So for now, I'm going to leave that exhaust on it until I can do some more research and find something that's a lot more lightweight and that is not going to be very loud whenever the engine's running. Reliability. So far in the year that I've had it, it's been very reliable. Starts every time, hasn't given me one problem at all. Everything works as it should. So reliability after 1 year, 10 out of 10. ABS. I love having ABS on a motorcycle. It does very nice whenever you're having to make emergency stops. It gives you comfort knowing that you can stop really fast. But the only thing I have an issue with the ABS on this motorcycle is you cannot disengage it. Riding off-road with ABS can be very butt-puckering if you've ever done it. I'm probably going to get to where I'm just going to start pulling the fuse on this bike whenever I know I'm going to be doing off-road for any amount of time. So that way I don't have to worry about it. I know I can lock up the tires on this bike if I need to. You can get seriously injured or killed depending on how fast you're going or what you're doing with the ABS on this motorcycle off-road. So be very careful riding off-road with the ABS on this bike. I'm not a very experienced off-road adventure bike rider yet. I've grown up riding dirt bikes and street bikes. So I know on dirt you want to be able to lock up the tires and come to a stop, you know, if you need to. And a couple times on this bike, forgetting that it does have ABS, I have scared myself pretty bad. Luckily I have not gone down due to that reason, but if I didn't have dirt bike riding experience, I could see how somebody could easily wreck off-road with the ABS on this bike. So disengage it, or if you're an experienced rider, it's probably not an issue to you. But you know, that's something you get over time. Sport bikes, I don't ever ride them off-road, so this is all new stuff, riding something this big and road-oriented off-road. Top speed on this bike is not very fast either. I've gotten up to about 125, and it does not have much more after that. It was pretty well topped out. I guess you could probably hit 130 on this with a tailwind going downhill. But like I say, it has plenty of torque and low end power to make up for not having a very fast top speed. The cockpit on this bike gives you a lot of information. Right now it's on the side stand, so it is showing more fuel than it really has. I'm about a half tank on it. But you have your temperature over here, you have your engine temperature, you have your outside air temperature, you have your miles, you have your time. I can come up here and change the top, trip 1, trip 2, back to your odometer. Down here I can go from voltage, miles per gallon, average, and range. Right here, traction control off, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, back to off, and that's where it stays. You can change up from miles per hour to kilometers or kilometers, and everything Celsius. Now let's get to the part about what I don't like about the V-Strom. The V-Strom, first off, the 1000 gas tank size is not very good. I'm lucky to get 200 miles on a full tank on this bike, and for an adventure bike, I think that is a very, very low range. So that's one thing. I mean, for the kind of riding I do, it's been okay right now. But as I plan to eventually progress and do more off-road riding, I could see gas tank size being an issue for me. And at that point, I'll just carry a jerry can with me for extra fuel. Another thing is ground clearance. This motorcycle does not have the best ground clearance in the world, as you can see through here. So depending on what you're trying to go over, you need to be mindful that you're probably going to bottom out over some of that stuff, go around it or move it. It's up to you. Seat comfort, like I say, the riding position on this bike's fantastic. They built it for comfort, but the seat is lacking a little bit. There's aftermarket options you can do to rectify that situation, whether it be sheepskin, new seat, whatever. There's plenty of options out there, from very cheap to very expensive, depending on what you want to do to rectify that. I think with me, you know, hour and a half, 2 hour ride, I'm ready to hop off and stretch the legs anyway. I had a back injury that I sustained in an accident in 2010. So after about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I do want to get off, stretch a little bit, and kind of get the kinks worked out, then hop back on and go again. You may be able to ride all day and never have an issue with it. It's just people are different, and I find that the seat could maybe use a little bit more padding in it, and other than that, it's no problem. I'd mentioned before the ABS cannot be turned off whenever you're going off-road, so I do not like that aspect of it, but on-road, the ABS on this bike is fantastic. And last but not least, traction control. The motorcycle has it. It's two-stage, stage 1, stage 2, and after the first week of owning this bike, traction control has been turned off. I have not used it, haven't had a need for it. I believe in rider improvements versus bike improvements. They're making too many, how can I say it, too many aids on motorcycles these days, whether it's hill assist or clutchless shifting or starting assist or any of that stuff. I grew up riding old school, and I'm going to continue to do that way. ABS really is going to be one of the major options that I would like to have on all bikes, just for the safety of it. But other than that, I don't need heated seats or like I say, any of that other high class fancy, brake assist and starting assist, all that. I don't need all that. That's more stuff for you to spend at the dealership when stuff breaks. The simpler the bike is, the better it is, in my opinion. So it boils down to this. After 1 year, I'm very satisfied with the V-Strom 1000. It's a fantastic bike for what I do with it. Are there better bikes out there? Yes, there are. Are there worse bikes out there? Yes, there are. It all depends on what kind of riding you want to do. But if you're an entry-level adventure bike rider and you don't want to spend $25,000 on an adventure bike, I suggest go get a V-Strom 1000. It's cheap to maintain, cheap to buy, cheap to operate. Parts are cheap for it, and it's super reliable. The bike has been down, as you can see. Like I say, it's an off-road bike. It's gonna get dropped. If you want something pretty, go buy you a Harley or something like that. If you want something you can drop and not really care, get you one of these. Well, that's all for today's video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that like button, and while you're at it, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get reminded when all future videos come out. Everybody ride safe, and we'll see you next time.